So while the others join, I think I'll just start with the revision of what we did yesterday. So we were discussing the Neo-Freudians, and one person among them, the first one we discussed was Karen Horney. Okay. And somebody tell me uh, what was her theory and how did she differ from Freud? Okay, let's see, how did she differ from Freud? One of you? Since Karen Horney was a lady, I would like one of the gents in our class to answer. Anyone?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, who's that?
Aman.
Aman, yes, Aman, tell me.
Ma'am, she discovered optimism.
Yes.
She told that
Optimism
she
is required, yes.
she told that women are inferior.
Not because we are born like that, not because we're
Yeah,
born like that, but
yeah.
because. Rishi, continue.
Hello,
Women are
ma'am.
not born inferior, but because of. Yes, Rishi, you can continue. The question only I was repeating. Yes. But because of what? Rishi, you're not able to mute yourself, unmute yourself. Yes, Rishi. Tell me, you have written. Okay, Rishi, no problem. Just type in the keywords. Women are not born inferior, but because of what reasons do women become inferior? You can just type in your answer. Okay. Anyone else? While Rishi is typing in the answers. Okay. Social and cultural. Very good. Very good. Yes. So, Jarin, anything else to add?
Yes, ma'am, I typed.
You were the one who typed.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see the. Oh, you were the one who typed. Okay. Anything else to add to the theory? Because of, see, Rishi, women are not born inferior, but because of social factors, they become inferior. Due to their upbringing, they become inferior. They are not born inferior. That is what Karen Horney said. Is that clear? Because of biological factors, women are not born inferior, not because a person is born as a woman. That is the biological reason, no? But because of social factors, the upbringing is such that some women are treated less equal and they are treated less equal to men, and that is why women tend to think a little bit inferior of themselves. Is that clear, Rishi? Okay, Rishi. So, anything else to add to Karen Horney's theory?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, she also gave the importance of human growth and self-actualization.
Yes, self-actualization. Anyone who can give an example for self-actualization? That could be a lady also in the group. Because we are running short of men, I think. Okay, yes. Bino, what do you think? What is self-actualization? Okay, somebody else. Adil. Self-actualization. What does self-actualization mean? Adil, can you unmute? Okay, somebody else. Aditya. Okay, Adil's. Okay, no problem. Aditya.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
can I say?
Yeah, sure.
Realization of one's talents and potential. Like, is that?
Yes, yes. And it is not just the day-to-day thing, it is something higher. Okay, self-actualization is something which we attain very much later in life. Okay, and Karen Horney said that, like Freud says, that it stops at one particular age. It is not like that. Development happens throughout life. Very good, Rishi. Bad interpersonal relationships during childhood causes psychological disturbances. Yes, so psychological disturbances are caused due to very disturbing experiences during childhood. That is also something which Karen Horney has suggested. Okay, so that part, Karen Horney, we have just finished. Yes, very good, Rishi. Basic anxiety, very good. Yes. Jerin, tell us something more about basic anxiety. Yes, and
Ma'am, this occurs when the parents discourage the children. Like,
yes, yes, instead of encouraging them,
yeah,
when the child attempts doing something and when they are discouraged. Okay,
yeah. For example, when they're singing or something, you
yes,
said.
yes. Okay, so that is my example. Now, when I ask you questions, I should get your example so that I know that you are thinking for these things by yourselves. Okay. So yes, so that is with regard to Karen Horney's theory. I think we'll move forward to Alfred Adler's theory, and he called his, and I there was a homework actually I had given. What are the different names? Did you find out any other different name for Karen Horney's theory? Anything else that her theory was called? Were you able to do the homework? Do you need more time? Anyone who has been able to do it? Anybody? Let us hear a lady. Theory of neurotic needs, feminist psychology. Yes, theory of, okay, neurotic needs. So if you put it in the WhatsApp group, those who have done it, if you put it in the WhatsApp group, it will be very helpful. Yes, so put that in the WhatsApp group. Very good. Arunima, yes. Carl Jung's is called Jungian psychology. Yes, Jensi, Arunima, all of you. Devanshi, you have at least taken the trouble of going through some things. Yes. Okay. So, so please put all this. So, for example, if Karen Horney's theory, what all names is it known by? That's nice. Theory of unconscious. Okay. Theory of unconscious is Carl Jung's theory, Devanshi and Arunima. Yes. Jungian psychology. Yes, that is also correct. Theory of unconscious, Alfred Adler's theory of personality. Okay, that is understood. Alfred Adler's theory of personality is understood, but is it known by some other name? Because Alfred Adler's theory of personality is also known as individual psychology. So like that, if it has another name. Okay. So if you check up Jungian archetypes, but Jungian archetypes is not the name of the theory, Jensi. It is one of the things that Jung has told. Okay, so yes, so with that we continue with Alfred Adler's theory, and somebody who can tell me what Alfred Adler's theory was. What did he try to say? Sheetal, are you there? Sheetal? Okay, Adil, not Adil, Habil, both the Muhammad's in class. Habil? Can you unmute yourself? Habil is not there. Sefi? Ah, yes. Okay. Habil, tell me something that you know um, about the theory that Alfred Adler put forth. It is all there on the. Yes, so type in your answer, Habil. Okay. Somebody who can tell me what Alfred Adler meant. Yes. Human behavior is goal directed. Yes, Aditya. There's always a goal by which we are. Okay, Jency. Inferiority complex theory. That is another way of talking about Adler's theory, because he had talked about inferiority. What does it mean when we are inferior? Yes, and what we mean by being inferior. Yes, all these things were things. Yes. Personal goals. Yeah, somebody else. Okay. Okay, personal goals are the sources of motivation. Yes, Aditya, you are just getting over from inferiority. Jaren, it's incomplete, I think. Something else that you want to add to it? Yes. Okay, continue with that. Okay. So that is what Alfred Adler talked about. And Eric Fromm, he said that instead of concentrating only on our biological development, we have to think about a person's social development, because we all are social beings. Once and for all human beings are social beings, and that is why we have so much of trouble under lockdown, because we are so social that we are not used to this just 2 people or 4 people around us. So that is why it is difficult for us. So Eric Fromm says that we have to change from the thought that we are just biological beings, we just live and breathe and eat and do things. No, we are social beings, so we need a social orientation, and that is what helps us develop. So that is another thing that he said. And he said that we all want to be free. Okay. What else, Fatima? Can you unmute yourself? What else did Eric Fromm say? Yes, Jemima. This is Alfred Adler's theory. I think this is the one you asked for, no, Jemima? So,
Yes, ma'am. Done, ma'am. Thank
okay,
you.
you're welcome. Fatima, Eric Fromm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Would you tell me something?
Ma'am, he believed that desire for freedom and striving for justice and truth leads to growth of a person.
Okay, okay. What do you think? What is striving for justice?
We all need justice to live.
Yes.
All are
Feel
equal.
that there should be a balance, yes, between, there should be always righteousness that prevails in the world, and not just only the wrong things that go around in the world. Yes, so that is why we always think that everything should be just for everyone, and that every individual should be able to enjoy some degree of freedom. Now, yesterday when I asked you whether you are happy with the freedom that you get and that you enjoy, many of you said yes, your parents let you be free and things like that. But always, freedom is not just any license to do whatever you want. Freedom is something that comes with a lot of responsibility. There is a lot of responsibility. Jemima, are you done? Can I change the slide?
Yes, ma'am. I was done.
Okay, okay. So freedom is something that comes with a lot of responsibility. So freedom is not just going around with whatever you want to do. Okay. So that is a difference. There is a difference between the general thing that we need freedom, we need freedom. No. Freedom comes with a lot of responsibility. So that is why when we ask for freedom, we have to be sure that we take up the responsibility of all the other things. Okay. So yes, and when we interact with other people, our character develops. Have you read of cases where a child is stuck alone with his in a room? You know, there are some cases where some children have to suffer abuse, and there are some cases that have been discussed. Have you read through something like that? Are you aware of something like that for a couple of years, or maybe till 10 years and all? Sometimes there have been cases where yes, Navya. So there have been cases where children are just treated like animals, where they are not allowed to leave a room. You know, there are many people who have suffered that kind of abuse. And when these children were studied, it was found that it is very difficult for them, even after the age of, sometimes they are stuck in a place for 10 years, and then it becomes very difficult for them to cope up with the other developments, though they are placed in a very nice environment where all kinds of development happens. But they find it very difficult, because that major part of a big part of their life, they were under the experience of being asocial, being tied up, being not able to interact with others. So sometimes they wouldn't develop language, and even if they are taught a language after it, it becomes very difficult for them to completely develop. So when we experience life with other people, only then it leads to character development. That is what Eric Fromm has said. Okay. And then he also emphasized on things like tenderness and love. If you remember Freud's theory, now here we are talking of people who did not agree with Freud on some basis. So if you think of Freud's theory, he has never mentioned anything about the love and the care that a mother feels for the child. It was just a very, very, very like as if human beings are something which are just experimental specimens. So that is how we treat it. But Eric Fromm was also, since always think of Eric Fromm as a very social person, a very tender, loving, and a person who wants to interact with others. Okay, think of Eric Fromm like that, and his theory was based around that. Is that clear? And then we move to Erik Erikson. Somewhere I have read that Erik Erikson is his mother had married twice. So his first father, his stepfather, was also not a person that he really liked. And so when his name was Eric, like this child, his name is Eric, and he thought that I need no father, so I will be my own son. So he named himself Erik Erikson. Okay. So that is an interesting. So when you think, so you wouldn't confuse between Eric Fromm and Erik Erikson. So Erik Erikson was a person who is his own son or his own father, whichever way you want to put it. Okay. And Eric Fromm is the very social and loving and tender person. Clear? So Erik Erikson emphasized on the role of ego. When a person is developing, he emphasized that instead of id and super ego, it is the ego that is the main predictor of a person's personality. That is what Erikson said. And he said, Erikson's theory, he says that personality develops throughout a person's life. It is not just in the childhood or with the adolescence or with adulthood. Erikson says that a person's personality develops throughout the person's life. Okay. And his theory, I don't think you have to study the theory in detail, but Erik Erikson's theory is till old age, till the moment you die. So his theory has got 8 stages, and the last stage is old age. Okay, so always think of Erik Erikson, who has given us a theory which is throughout a person's life. So he says personality develops till the day you die, if you are dying by old age. Okay, so till the day you die, till your old age, you will be developing your personality, and personality does not stop at a particular phase. Okay, and he says that at each stage, like Freud talked about regression and fixation, Erik Erikson talks about identity crisis at each stage. And if at this stage, at a particular stage, suppose we are talking about adolescence, because you'll be able to relate to that stage. So if at the age or at the stage of adolescence, you will have certain crises. And when you are talking about the stage of adolescence, the crisis that we have is with regard to identity. What do I want to become? What am I? Okay, so it is very easy to make an adolescent think that, you know, you are Shah Rukh Khan, or you are, who's your other favorite actor? Alvin, tell me your favorite actor. I can't remember the names of aaj ke actors. You know. Alvin, tell me the name of your favorite actor whom you identify with. Hello, Alvin. Alvin is not there. Somebody else? Let me ask the girls. Navya, tell me, who's your favorite actor or actress whom you identify with? Yes. Deepika Padukone. Yes, Betsy. Mammootty. Okay, Aman. Okay. Yes. Whom did I ask? Navya? No answer from your side?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I don't think I identify with anyone, ma'am.
Okay, good, good. Very good. Mm. Okay, Nibin. Madhuri Dixit. Okay. Anna Sebastian is telling that it is Madhuri Dixit. Okay. Yes, so it at this stage, we don't know what we are at the stage of adolescence. So what happens? We tend to look at somebody else in life. and most of the times we see these people on screen, so we think that yes, I want to become like her, or I want to dress like her, or I want to talk like him. So these are the ways that we develop our identity. Okay, and at each stage, now here I gave you an example only of the adolescent stage, but at each stage we will go through certain amount of crisis, and we have to overcome that crisis. That is how we pass from one stage to the other, and we develop from that particular stage to the next stage, from childhood to adolescence. Okay, so at each stage we will be facing some crisis. Now I'm talking about the last stage also. Even at old age, we will be facing certain crisis, and we have to come about that. Okay, so that is when each stage teaches us something, we strive, we try hard to get over the crisis, and then we move ahead. That is development, according to what Erik Erikson says. So he says that at each stage there is some identity crisis that we go through, and we have to pass through that crisis so that we make our lives meaningful at that particular stage. Otherwise, he says life is meaningless. Okay, so that is one other contribution. So whatever is marked in bold, it is very important in this theory. Okay, so now all theories discussed till now, be it Freud's theory or Neo-Freudian theories, all these theories are called psychodynamic theories. Okay, I'm sorry. Psychodynamic theories say that every person's mind is dynamic. It is in motion always. Okay, it is not stagnant. So that is why all these theories are called psychodynamic theories. The theories of Freud, the theory that Freud put forth, and the theory that Neo-Freudians put forth. All these are called psychodynamic theories. Did you get it? Is that clear? Some thumbs up, something. If you have any doubt, you can put it in the chat box. Yes, Aman. All the theories, I'll repeat because I didn't receive many thumbs up. Aparna, okay. All the theories put forth by Freud and the Neo-Freudians or the post-Freudians are all called psychodynamic theories. Now, all these theories face certain criticism. And what are those criticisms? First is that most of these theories are based on case studies. Do you remember when we had discussed case studies? During one of the, I think intelligence, we were discussing intelligence and we had talked about case studies. Can one of you tell me what a case study is? Angelina?
Yes, ma'am.
What is a case study?
It is an in-depth study of an individual.
Of an individual. Yes. Yes, Angelina, correct. So it is about one individual. And here the theory is not talking about if I'm studying, suppose I'm studying Angelina and I'm telling that, okay, since her development is like this, all human beings develop like this. So that is one. Is it correct? Is it correct on my part to do so? Yes or no? If I study Angelina and I say that, okay, all girls are like that. Is it correct on my part to do? No. Yes, it is not correct. So that was one of the criticisms against the Freud. Yes, Devashri. Okay, so one of the major criticisms against psychodynamic theories is that all cases do not, with one single case, you cannot talk about the rest of the population. So just case studies wouldn't be enough to talk about the entire population. So that is what one of the, yes, Nibbin, correct, case study. Nibbin has given us the definition, an explanation for case study. Case study is the understanding of the personality and situation of the person. Okay, the person, one single person. And that is what we call case study. Very good. I'm happy that you all are linking things again. And I hope you are reading the intelligence chapter, variation in psychological attributes. Yes. So again, as we move forth, all these things, internet, is it okay? I'm getting a message that my internet is not stable. I hope it's okay now. And so with one single case study, you cannot generalize all the whole of the human beings. And the next thing is that, and they are not only taking case studies, they are taking very rare cases as their example. They are taking very rare cases. Like for example, Freud always took very rare cases of, for example, there is a case of Hans, a boy called Hans, with whom he experimented and he observed, and he saw that Hans has got Oedipus complex. He has an attraction towards his mother, and with that he has said that all human beings. So that is one rare case example, and he has used it to generalize all the people, that he says that all boys go through Oedipus complex. Okay. And one other criticism for psychodynamic theories is that we cannot test this theory, because we cannot, for example, if you want to test Freud's theory, okay, so I want to see whether a person has got anal fixation or oral fixation. How can I do that? So scientific testing, I can't just allow a baby to go without, without being fed, without giving milk, without being attached to his mother. I can't put the baby somewhere else and ask him to live there because I'm conducting an experiment. So scientific testing of these theories is very difficult. And so that is why if we cannot test a theory, what does it mean? You can tell me your opinions. I just want to see whether you are able to think. If you cannot test a theory, what does it mean? Kenza? You can say anything you want. I know that
Yes,
you're a theorist. Yes.
ma'am. Can you repeat your question?
If you cannot test a theory, what does it mean?
And that sometimes it's like objective, that you can't like come to a complete conclusion. There's bias.
Yes, yes, a lot of things can happen. And yes, Devanshi, you have written that the probability of the theory being incorrect. When you say incorrect, yes, Malavika, we cannot assess that the theory is correct or not. When you cannot test the theory, that means you cannot, and yes, so it is not applicable to all. Yes, Devanshi. So what happens is when you are making a theory, that theory should be testable. You have to, for example, if you have read it, you must have heard that, during the beginning of the COVID-19 time, did you hear somewhere that the coronavirus wouldn't be able to survive in hot climates? Did you hear something like that? Yes, Aparna, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Malvika. Yes, we heard something like that. And is that true now? Because we still see cases of, yes, Nipin, yes. Malavika did not hear something like that. Yes, Malavika, there was a prediction that corona would not survive in the summers, at peak summers, especially when the temperature is around 32, 33, it wouldn't survive. That was some prediction that was made. But now we know that even in this hot weather, in the hot sun, it is surviving. So there what happens, that theory which was put forth could be tested, because now it is summers and we still have the cases. So then we can say that that theory is good, but it is not true because we can test it. Okay. So if I say that, no, a person, if that person is good, if that person is good, will not be suffering from coronavirus. My theory is that, but will I be able to test it? If the person is good, that person will not suffer from coronavirus. That is my theory. Is that theory a good theory? No. Why, Aman?
Ma'am, because the person should have great immunity power and good health. So sometimes we say that we are not afraid of corona. Sometimes it will catch us. And
Yes. Okay, here I am asking that it is a theory that I am saying that if a person is good, that person will not suffer from corona. So is that theory good or bad? That is my question. Because every theory, the theory is not good. Why?
Because it can't be tested.
Because I cannot, yes, Aparna, because I cannot test the theory. How can I test whether somebody who is positive is good or bad in life? No, so that way, that theory is not good. Whether it is true or false, Aman, you are correct. You say that, no, it is not that whether the person is good as a person, he is very helpful and kind and friendly to others and all. No, that is not the question here. It is that whether this theory is testable or not. This theory is not testable, so it is not a good theory. So scientific theories have to be put in such a way that they can be tested. So testing of the psychodynamic theories is very impossible. So, but there have been researches on this, but it is comparatively less testable. So that is another criticism against psychodynamic theories. And most of the theories, most of the conclusions of Freud's theories were directly related to studies with men. He had very few studies of women. Yes, there are a few studies of women, but the experiments that he has done is mostly related to men. And that is why he talks about women as a little inferior. We have not discussed something like that in the 12th standard, but as you move forth, maybe if you are graduating in psychology or you are taking a post-graduation course in psychology, when you go through Freud's theories in detail, you would come to know that Freud always treated women as a little different than men. So his theories were mostly based on, his studies were mostly based on men. Okay, let's see what the time is. Okay, we have 3 more minutes. So I think with that, we move to the next approach, which we'll do tomorrow. And yes, any doubts? Okay, I'll stop recording so that you will be comfortable asking your doubts. Okay, if you have any doubts, please ask. Vijay, no, it's done.